One after another they come, never hearing those sounds from the secret garden. Never suspecting they will soon be making those sounds. One after another they check in and pray for the day they can check out. Motel Hell.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Hello there.
This week, we'll be discussing the horror classic, Motel Hell, starring some people. Wolfman Jack is in this.
Rory Calhoun.
Rory Calhoun, you know him,
The
don't
chick
you?
from Porky's.
Chick from Porky's, and the fourth officer on Chips. If you're
There
paying
was
attention.
a fourth officer?
Not Punch, not John, not the captain, but the other guy.
Right. Oh my
Of course.
God. It's been 1,000 years since I thought about Chips.
Yes.
Is
so there
Eric
you go.
Estrada still doing Spanish telenovelas?
He's in Motel Hell Part 2, the final chapter.
What the final cap? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Good times. So let's jump right in. Give us your 30-second synopsis of Motel Hell, if you please.
Hillbilly people have a hotel, and they also like to smoke meat. But,
Yeah.
you know, the problem is that their meat has a special ingredient that is sometimes hard to procure except, locally, shall we say. So that requires bear traps and various things, or people staying at the hotel, I guess, or people buying their products, I guess.
Anybody
Anyway,
they come in contact with.
It was kind of like pre-Soylent Green.
It was post-Texas Chainsaw Massacre is what it was.
It was post-Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but chronologically in the realm of this world, it was pre-Soylent Green. Of course, Soylent Green, the movie, came out much sooner, but it's the same premise. It's too many people. So,
that's
meat, and a man's got to eat.
Right.
So anyway, as you might guess, it's a little Sweeney Toddy. They're making snazzages and smoked meat, and isn't it delicious? Isn't it the finest? Except there's always like a pesky teenager or young adult who gets in the way, and before you know it, it's all over, and meat's meat, and a man's got to eat. The end.
Beautiful. I had seen this movie. I'm trying to think how long ago. My first encounter with it, because I think you guys had seen it. My older siblings had seen it about that time. We're constantly making Motel Hell cracks. So I felt I had to go and watch it. And not the best, I have to say.
What?
Not the best.
What are you talking about? What kind of crazy words are coming out of your mouth? This is dynamite. I have had to watch so many of your bad 80s movies, and to hear you besmirch such an original classic, it makes me heartsick.
It's
sick.
Well, when do you first remember even hearing of this movie? Give me that lowdown.
Lord, I want to say this is a Friday night at Blockbusters.
Okay.
I definitely did not see this at the theater.
Did anyone?
I don't know. Must have. But to me, this is like a classic.
Well, it's something. It's weird. I realized watching this movie. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Night of the Comet versus Motel Hell. What's better?
I enjoy Night of the Comet more.
Oh.
Boom. You know,
not only is this such a great story,
it's so
it has
great.
So many great lines.
I'll say this: I love the famous immortal lines. You know, that takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer
to make
Vincent's
Farmer
fritters.
Vincent fritters.
That's right.
And meat's meat, and a man's gotta eat.
That's right. Those are this movie is basically a comedy. I mean, obviously that's they were trying to go for something like that, but it's
mean, it's not scary.
Not
it's
even
not
a little
scary.
bit. Not even a little bit. It's the way it's set up makes it very hard to even find it even remotely scary, because the people who are like who are attacked by Farmer Vincent, we don't even know them really. We see them for 5 seconds, and then they're shoved in the secret garden, basically, right?
I love the secret garden too.
So, but at the beginning of the movie, he basically falls in love with some biker's girlfriend.
Who looks like she's 20, and he looks old enough to be her great-grandpappy. But we later discover he's got the syphilis of his brain.
Well, that's right. Yes, they do.
Wrap it up, children, so you don't get the syphilis of the brain.
Well, that was the thing. This, again, I keep saying the way the movie's set up makes it so strange, because he falls in love with the girl, brings her back to the hotel, or the motel, excuse me.
Yes.
And nurses her back to health, and then they kind of have like a May-December romance, but it's really kind of a January-December romance, if you know what I'm saying.
It was something.
So
it was very, very uncomfortable.
You don't get the sense that she's in any real danger. Really.
No. And she clearly has no sense of danger. She thinks Farmer Vincent's the sweetest, nicest guy in the whole world.
Right.
And later on, when you see her old boyfriend, quite frankly,
Bo
is not. He's definitely not as young as her. So
no,
you would say he's old enough to be her daddy, and Farmer Vincent is old enough to be her grandpappy. So
there is a 33-year age difference between them.
I mean, as far as being offended that your boyfriend's soaking his dentures was obviously not something that bothers her.
Not even a little bit. So she's
not even a little.
She is kind of, she's the one who you feel is in danger, but you don't get the sense that she's really in any danger. I think Sister Ida tries to drown her at one occasion.
Sister Ida is jealous for sure.
She's jealous. But again, it's handled in such a way that you're not really worried about her, right?
You're not worried about her because she's 20 and apparently goes to bed at like 8 o'clock every night and sleeps through, because they're all like 1,000 and they're up much later because that's where all the dirty work goes on.
Yes.
And or up before she wakes up. I don't know. Maybe they're vampires. Maybe they never sleep. I don't know.
In the climactic scenes, right? There's the dueling chainsaw battle with wearing a crazy pig head and his younger brother, who's also the sheriff. Again,
and my younger brother,
25-year age.
Exactly. So that's fascinating.
So, but again, it's like there really isn't a lot of danger here. You know what I mean?
And so why do you need multiple chainsaws? First of all, you use chainsaws to butcher animals? What? That seems a little not
gross.
So clean and gross. And I kept looking at him in the pig head, which is disturbing. It's a little Lord of the Flies, a little Texas chainsaw. But quite frankly, you should be able to just push that old man over. One, he obviously can't see. He's got a freaking pig head on his head. Two, he's about 110. So, quite frankly, he's been knocked down 3 or 4 times. One of those hips should have shattered by now.
Well, he's tall. I swear to God, he weighs 90 pounds. So it's not. This isn't Michael Myers chasing you around the property by any stretch of the imagination.
This is like snapping a chicken wing.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, in these climactic moments, there isn't like any real sense of danger. That's the thing that kind of messed it up. If like the sheriff was literally a separate entity, somebody investigating all the mass disappearances that seem to be happening, flavor, in my opinion.
No, he's more like a goober in Mayberry or something.
Right. So
and doesn't know what his own brother has been up to.
What the family secret?
Been doing this. Family secret. So I'm guessing his mom was doing the same thing.
Well, they said the grandmother used to smoke the meats, and then she taught Farmer Vincent all of her secrets.
For God's sakes. No one can keep a secret like that. I mean, they're literally out there harvesting strangers on the road every freaking night.
Right. That's the thing. So they're setting up traps on the reg, on the streets, just out, the passes by the motel, to cause car accidents. Then they grab those people, bring them back, dig a hole, dump them in the hole, fully clothed, and then seal them up to their neck, and then they just feed them through a little snorkel.
Oh, yeah,
right?
That's a crazy image, too. That is a crazy image. Late at night with a spotlight, all these bobbing heads making these little pig sounds because they've also removed their vocal cords. So it's all...
Right.
And now they've got snorkels with like a funnel on top being filled with slop.
Now, my question, is this like veal? Is that what we're going for here? We can't let you move around.
When you're 40 years old, you're not veal anymore. At the very least, you're either beef jerky for the dog or maybe a stewing hen.
Because it didn't seem to be like, what's the purpose of why not just, if you're okay, I'm a cannibal, let's say, and I like to smoke human flesh.
Right.
Why am I not just killing you immediately? Why does there have to be all this rigmarole of bearing you up to your neck? And you're alive, right? You're alive, and they just feed you for however long. Oh, need another couple of days for this one.
What are they doing? What are they doing? It doesn't make, you're right, it doesn't make any sense. And quite frankly, they have more people than pigs. And my understanding is that human flesh tastes like pork. So why would you also be using pork? Pork with long pork, short pork, long pork?
Let me also say, it must be lovely to rent a hotel room where you open up the window and there's a pig farm right there.
Oh my God.
Lovely.
If you have never been around pigs, I can tell you that for every 1 pound of food you put into a pig, they literally shit about 4.
Right.
And it smells like human crap.
If you
would like to be in a hotel with an open field inches away that smells like festering farts, then by all means, Motel Hell is the place for you.
It definitely seems like they came up with the title first. They're like, we gotta have, because it's Motel Hello, but the O keeps going out.
Like the Hot L Baltimore, Motel Hell.
Yeah, exactly. Hotel New Hampshire is what you're thinking of.
Hot L Baltimore. Hot, H-O-T, the E is out, and it's L. It used to be an old TV show, Hot L.
Okay. Hotel Coral Essex. That was another one from Revenge of the Nerds, too.
But is a letter out to give it the name? See what I'm saying here?
Yes, there is.
All right.
I'm not going to spell out what Hotel Coral Essex spells. Anyway.
Never mind.
So, again, there's nothing... There's no hell. They're not devil worshippers. There's no demons or devils running around. Basically, they must have come up with the title first, and then they tried to shoehorn, what can we do? Why does it have to be a hotel at all, is the question. Because, there could have been just, we're selling our smoked meats and beef jerky on the side of the road or something, right?
Because there really doesn't seem to be anybody staying at the hotel.
Well, that's the thing. I think some swingers show up 45 minutes into the movie.
That is true. I take that back. They're advertising in swingers magazines to get people to come over. On top of the fact, it's like Farmer John.
Yes.
They are all excited about, I get to eat all this delicious smoked meat that I grew up on, and I get to fuck the owner. Yay!
Right. Look, I'm not a swinger as far as anybody knows, but when this couple shows up and the only people who are there are crispy old Farmer Vincent and his sister Ida, I think I'm getting back in the car. They're totally into it. They're totally into it.
Oh my God.
She's out there with a
So their kink is to eat some Farmer John sausages while dressed in a tutu. And giving it to Farmer John all at the same time.
It was a horror show.
Sausages in both directions.
So The beginning of the movie, they Farmer Vincent shoots like a motorcycle driving by, shoots the tires, I guess.
Right.
And grabs the old biker guy, that was Bo, and throws him in the ground. And falls in love with the girl. Her name is Terry, who again looks to be about 21 at this point. And then the brother, the sheriff, shows up and he's like, what's the story? You know, he's like, oh, well, you know, I buried her boyfriend. He died last night and I just buried him. Buried him in the graveyard.
That don't sound right to me.
Well, in this county, and with extenuating circumstances, you're just allowed to bury people.
And I love that Farmer Vincent knows it all much better than his brother, the sheriff.
His brother, the county sheriff. He's like, okay. And then there's a bizarre love triangle that goes on because Terry is falling in love with Farmer Vincent. Farmer Vincent's in love with Terry. Then the brother, Bruce, Sheriff Bruce, is also in love with Terry. So he invites her out to the drive-in, but they don't go to the drive-in. They go to a vacant lot and look at the drive-in through binoculars. That's not how you impress the ladies.
The $2. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to look through binoculars.
It's much cheaper. They appreciate frugality.
He just thought he was going to be getting busy. That's what the dealio is.
Oh, he tried to pull a full-blown date rape at one point. He jumps on her.
It was a full-on Weinstein.
It was, no question.
And then they hear screaming, and he's like, okay, fine. She's like, well, that wasn't me. And then she's cool with him.
Right.
I would have been all, get the F away from me before I stab you.
Right.
Again.
That's when the skiers are being chased by Farmer Vincent at this point.
I mean, it was a more innocent time. It was like, you know, date rape was just part of the magic.
Just part of the magic.
You just rolled with it. And then later on, you burn their house down.
That's how you do it. Sweet Lord. Oh, God. So later in the movie, Farmer Vincent and Terry are not going to get married. They're going to get married. She threw herself at him. Like, come and get it. And he's like, whoa. Hang on.
She was full buck naked at one point. I saw fuzzy bits and pointy bits and everything. She was topless with old Rory Calhoun trying to use all her feminine wiles to get some of that.
She was. And he says, hang on. We have to get married first. At which point, now man Jack, as Reverend Billy, he's going to do the ceremony.
In
Wolfman
the background
Jack
through the whole show,
is
you hear it's like the constant like PTL club running in the back.
It is
back, and it's Wolfman Jack. I wonder how much he got paid for this crap.
So the brother
still coming off his buzz from American Graffiti in Greece, and everybody knew who Wolfman Jack is. Now nobody knows who we're talking about.
Was Wolfman Jack in Greece?
No, but there was that nostalgia from
there
the
was
50s.
The 50s nostalgia. That is true.
That's what I meant.
So
he was, in fact, the voice of American Graffiti. He was the radio DJ.
That is true. So now Sheriff Bruce is upset that Terry's going to marry his brother, and literally is like, he must be forcing her. Now at this point, there hasn't been any kind of sibling. Any issues at all between them? They seem to be like a normal.
Perfectly happy. The first time a chick shows up, they're ready to burn down the whole family.
Right.
Screw it.
And it's like now he's finally going to investigate the disappearances that have been going on for 40 years.
Because that all makes sense. My brother is marrying someone that I want to get with. Therefore, he must be a crazed killer.
He must be a crazed serial cannibal. With syphilis on the brain.
I am now going to do my job, which I haven't ever bothered to do before. Because clearly people have been disappearing for decades.
He shows up to rescue her at one point. He's so convinced that she must be a prisoner. Now, the audience knows what's going on.
Right.
But the sheriff, why are you suddenly like, now I'm suspicious? Just because you're dating a chick that I like, now you must be guilty of crimes.
Exactly. Boo.
But throughout the movie, he's like Farmer Vincent is really like pushing like car after car into this shallow pond. Where literally, if you walked by the pond, you would see all these cars sticking out. And no one noticed until now.
If you went to Google Earth, it'd be one of those things where all of a sudden there's like a slough or something, and you'll look, there's like a dozen cars right under the surface.
This pond was basically like Red Fox and Sanford and Son. There were so many abandoned cars. That's what it was. It's like anybody, a jogger could have found this, for God's sake. So now he's like all investigating. Now he's investigating.
Well, the beauty of eating a lot of the smoked meats, you're probably not a jogger.
That is true.
And
Sad,
the stench from the pig farm might keep people from picnicking out there.
Earlier in the movie, oh God help me. Earlier in the movie, like the food inspector shows up to look at the pigs, but when he shows up, he's already suspicious for no reason, apparently.
For no reason. And why does he have to sneak around? He's there to inspect.
Right.
So why did I come in the middle of the night? You just kick the door open and say, hey, I'm here.
Right.
The people from my office know where I was supposed to visit that day.
Yeah, exactly. These are good questions. So yeah, Farmer Vincent has like the pig farm right there in plain sight, which ostensibly he really uses the pork as well. He makes his own special mixture, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what we're supposed to think?
Yeah.
But he's got a secret garden that's fenced in by gates, like camouflaged, where he has all of these heads, these people buried in the ground. I also think there are pineapples or something growing back there.
It's like they must. Do they order specialty burlap sack for the heads, or does his sister sew those up out of tater sacks? But yeah, they're all rocking around and they all squeal like little pigs.
They do.
It seems like a lot of freaking effort. Why don't you just kill them and smoke them immediately? Why are you buying $70,000 equipment to drill special holes? You have to perform surgery. You got to get up in the middle of the night to do all this because I don't know. Because it's a high traffic place. Everybody's banging on the door to get to your Airbnb. I mean, what the hell? Why can't they do this at noon? They clearly have no guests, and only two people have shown up to buy the meat, and 2 people showed up to actually stay at the hotel.
That's correct.
The Bates Motel had more action.
You're telling me. It's true. It makes no GD sense at all. So good times. Oh Lord. Any other wacky scenes you want to talk about in Motel Hell?
Oh hell yes! What is the matter with you?
Hit me.
All right. This is how they harvest them. So they take their hoods off.
Yep.
And they put this spinning hypnotizer wheel in front of their faces. This is their humane way of killing them.
Right.
They put a noose around each of their necks and tie it to the tractor. So and now they're hypnotized. Now they're spinning around, and then they just throw the tractor into drive and pop their heads. I didn't understand why it didn't pop off like a cork, quite frankly.
Right. These are good questions.
Because literally they're putting so much pressure that the little tractor is doing a papa wheelie.
Right.
So, and then you pull them out like a carrot, I guess.
It
seems like, and now you've got to clean them because they've been buried in the ground.
In their clothes.
Pooing on themselves. In
I didn't
their
even think about
clothes.
that. That's true.
Yeah.
There's no potty breaks. Yeah,
there's no potty breaks. It's all part of the magic. It's self-fertilizing.
Oh, God.
So now you got to cut all this off. You got to wash all this down. I mean, it logically, I think Sweeney Todd had it the right way. This was overly complicated, but it was a creepy, cool image, I would say.
And we didn't even mention that the 3 people whose heads get popped are a rock band called Ivan and the Terribles.
Ivan and the Terribles.
And I guess the bass player...
The song was a total, like, rip-off of My Sharona.
First of all, the guy who played Ivan had the fakest like beard ever. It was like a weird pirate beard from a costume shop.
It's like, what do we got in the costume trunk? That'll do it.
And the bass player was Cliff Clavin.
Cliff Clavin, John Ratzenberg,
in an early role.
His youthful finest.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Also, my question is, how long are they supposed to be under the ground? Because it seems like that guy, Bo, was there the longest, and yet he wasn't the first one plucked. You know what I mean? Ivan and the Terribles had just arrived a couple days later.
And there were already people there.
And there were already heads there, yes. No explanation.
They were still there, or something like that. And then one of the big climactic scenes is Terry's old man, we'll say. Her old man gets out, which is physically impossible.
Right. Suddenly he just frees himself for no reason. I was pulling myself out.
When you're buried with your arms to your sides,
you can't do it.
How are you getting out? How are you digging yourself out?
Like a worm.
Because at one point I guess he's like doing the worm. At one point, he gets his hand out, and then he's up to his shoulders, and then mysteriously his arm is back down to his side.
I noticed that too.
He squirms out, and then manages to free everyone else.
Yes.
And they go on a tirade. We're not really sure whatever happens to them after the tirade, but it was fantastic.
Well, they're walking around like zombies. Is I think what we were supposed to. Because they're kind of going la la as they walk around.
Right, because they can't talk because they cut out their vocals. So
well, Bo fights Farmer Vincent, and the rest of the escapees kill Ida off screen, I believe.
Oh,
and then we never see him again.
And they're just free. They've gone feral. But I mean, how long have they been in the ground? Because your muscles will atrophy. That's why. When you go to the hospital, they're constantly making you wiggle, walk, touching you, checking your bits out.
Hopefully they're not checking your bits out. I don't know what kind of hospital this is. Another
funny thing, at one point you see this family buying meat. It's like a giant box of meat is $2. So they buy a couple of things. And then there's twin little girls like stolen out of The Shining.
Yes.
And they go exploring, of course, the slaughter/smokehouse and get freaked out. And they're screaming, they're yelling, they're jumping into the car. They have two silver Mylar balloons.
Yes.
Which I'm going to mention. So Farmer Vincent goes, I know what to do. So he literally goes up to the window while they're panicking. It makes a monster face. Ah! That will help calm them down.
I loved how there was just raw meat just out in the open. No refrigeration. Just here's half a pig over here. Here's a pig head over there. Blood everywhere.
Why were there just so many pig heads posed for decoration? But what I'm going to say later on in the story, we're back in the smokehouse, and there's two Mylar balloons.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
There was the two perfect silver Mylar balloons tied to the wall. So I don't think that family got too far.
Uh-oh. There you go. Okay.
So that was a good one. The two girls look like if they cloned the bad seed.
It was absolutely the bad seed.
Let me see. I'm running through my list. At one point, his sister is going to tell Terry the secret, and Rory Calhoun, Farmer Vincent, turns around and punches her in the boob.
It was an uncomfortable picnic after that, let me just say.
That was kind of a downer. Go tell me one of your favorite scenes while I read this.
I think we already went over mine, but let me... your car's in the pond. Doesn't Terry have anywhere in God's green earth to go?
She claims to be like a Manson family orphan.
Because it's like her boyfriend gets killed in the motorcycle accident, allegedly. And then she's just like, I guess I'll just stay. I'm cool with hanging out with crusty old Farmer Vincent and his weird sister. We're good. I have nowhere else to go. No one's looking for me.
Right.
All very strange.
Another good scene, Farmer Vincent's deathbed confession.
Yes, that was a good scene. Go ahead.
I used, and you're waiting for it.
Yes.
Preservatives.
Because the whole movie was just like, it's all natural, no chemicals, So that was his deathbed confession.
You're expecting to say, I use people. No, I use preservatives.
Well, go ahead.
And my next favorite scene from this, how are you not writing any of this down, Kevin, is the zombies buried the sister upside down.
Yes.
With the 2 feet sticking up, wiggling around. Fantastic. What is the matter with you, brother? You must have been in a foul mood to have scorned this fantastic film.
There's a scene where they're drinking champagne at the wedding, and Ida puts like something in Terry's drink that clearly turns the champagne bright green.
Yeah.
Terry does not notice, thankfully. I mean, it was like flagrant. It's like, Terry, I think the champagne's gone bad. Give it a second look. For God's sakes. So, good times. Do you want to do behind the scenes?
I have another. I'm sorry.
Oh,
one
sweet
more.
Jesus, please.
All right. In the van with Ivan the Terrible.
Yep.
They've smoked too much weed, and one of them announced right before they crash, you need to find some place to crash, and then they crash. Ta-da-da. There are all kinds of these like little quick foreshadowing one-liners. Bum.
Right. Very good. Okay. Behind the scenes.
No, I got another one, Kevin.
Go ahead.
At one point, Farmer Vincent is out looking at his heads in the ground, and he says, I can't help but reflect on the karmic, what did he say?
The karmic implications.
Yes, of the karmic implications.
Yes. I did notice that. That is hilarious. Because you're right. He's like, we're doing God's work kind of thing. I think this is like a good, because they said, because there's not enough food for all the people on the earth, this kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Because it shrinks the number of people, increases the amount of food. Good thinking.
Right. Good thinking, Lincoln.
Okay. Tobe Hooper was originally going to direct this movie for Universal Studios.
Poor Tobe Hooper, man. He never could get it together.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. This movie seems like they took Texas Chainsaw Massacre and made it into a comedy.
Right.
It's basically, it's very similar. There's even like, if you've seen that movie lately, like literally a member of the crazy family sells like chili on the side of the road that's made with a little something extra.
Oh my God. I could not tell you the last time I saw.
Yeah.
It's not a long time ago.
People think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is this gruesome movie, and it's really not. They don't show anything, but it's just what they show is enough.
Maybe we need to revisit.
Let's see. The dueling chainsaws was an idea that was created late in production and was not in the script at all.
It didn't need to be in the script.
Well, because again, it's 2 brothers who ostensibly love each other are fighting with chainsaws. Then at one point, Farmer Vincent, when he actually gets his mortal wound, it almost seemed like an accident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
they're like, oh, God,
Vincent. And then they're all with him. Terry and his brother are like, it's okay, Vince. You've murdered people by the bushel over the last 100 years.
But do they know that?
I think they do, because you see like the bodies. They have like the torsos on like the hooks.
Yeah, well, that's true. I forgot they do have if you're not looking carefully, you may think there's pigs, and then there's also torsos.
Other things
on the hook.
Torsos. The original screenplay was originally darker, more disturbing, with a splash of bestiality.
Oh, I don't.
It was not a black comedy at all. It was much more like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of deal.
I mean, you could go that way, but I thought this was better. I mean, there's so many like that, you know. Everything is dark, but how often do you get something so wacky?
Not often enough. Or some would argue too often.
It's wacky. It's kind of a black comedy. It can be creepy, but mostly it's wacky.
It's definitely wacky. Wacky is what they're going for, no question. Bruce Smith was specifically written. Sheriff Bruce was written for the actor Paul Link from Chips because he went to college with the writer and the co-producer. So there you go.
That's Hollywood, bad. Pays to know.
Let me see. Anything else? They marketed the movie as a straightforward horror movie rather than a horror comedy, fearing that quirkiness in the trailers or posters would put off audiences. However, You Might Just Die Laughing still appeared on all the posters.
There you go. I like that.
I like this one. Harry Dean Stanton was originally approached to play Farmer, but declined.
He could have done it.
He said, "Thanks for nothing."
He could have done it. Harry Dean Stanton's one of these guys. You don't know. When he was 20, he looked like he was 60. And then once he was 60, he just kind of stayed the same.
And I said this earlier. It's like Sheriff Bruce and Farmer Vincent are brothers, even though there's a 26-year age difference between them.
So it was the miracle baby, or were there children in between that they just ate?
Clearly.
Tony Randall was making babies in his 90s. Let me just throw that out there. Let that settle in.
That is true. I think that's about it. There's not a whole lot of interesting stuff about it. Do you want to talk about the cast? We've been talking about it.
Why do I know the name Rory Calhoun, except from The Simpsons?
If you look
at the 1001 little Santa's little helper babies,
Satan's little helper
with Mr. Beard goes, that one has the look of a young Rory Calhoun.
If you look under IMDb, his number one movie is
Motel Hell.
Absolutely.
Really?
He was in something called Pure Country. You know, don't you? From 92.
No.
1953, he was in How to Marry a Millionaire with Betty Grable, Lauren Bacall, and Marilyn Monroe.
I was going to say, he was old-timey.
Yeah, he is old-timey. Adventure Island in 1947. Nothing that I've seen. He's in Wagon Train.
I used to watch Wagon Train. So. Wagons, ho! Back when we had only a few channels.
He's just trying to pay the bills.
Oh my God, I'm looking at pictures of young Rory Calhoun. Unrecognizable.
He's a handsome devil. What can I tell you?
He died in 1999. He was born in 1922.
Paul Link.
6'3".
He's tall and skinny. Paul Link played, obviously, Sheriff Bruce. He is primarily famous for being Officer Grossman on Chips. He was still a hardcore working actor. He was in Parenthood. He was the guy who started dating Diane Wiest towards the end of that movie, where they talked about they both went to Woodstock together.
Oh.
Yeah. He was in K-Pax a few years ago.
Do you think I saw that crap?
You know him, don't you?
Come on, Brother Bear.
Sister Ida, she is most famously as Coach Ballbricker from Porky's.
She's the hardest working woman in show business.
No question. She's been in a ton of stuff.
I hope she saved her money and lived well.
Terry was played by an actress named Nina Axelrod, who not very famous. She's also like a casting department. She did casting for like Firestarter. She was a waitress in Cobra. Miscellaneous crew on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Yeah.
You don't even have a job title? What is that?
Or a jibe title. Either one.
Shut it down, Skillet. Shut it down.
Wolfman Jack was Reverend Billy.
Yeah.
You know him. Famous disc jockey, evidently. And like we said, of course, John Ratzenberger. I thought he was the bass guitarist. He was the drummer of Ivan and the Terribles. We never saw him actually play the drums.
That's true.
So we'll just have to take their word for it. I think that's about it.
Does it even matter?
Does he even have any lines?
I'm not
I'm
sure
not
if
even
he
sure.
has any lines, but at least he got credit, right? Maybe he had a soliloquy that was cut.
He's one of those guys that if you were watching movies, early 80s, late 70s, he keeps popping up. He just keeps he was in A Bridge Too Far as like an American soldier.
What?
Before he became Cliff Clavin, absolutely. Before he was Cliff Clavin, he was the hardest working man in show business. So there you go. Now he's in all the Pixar movies. So there you go.
I just want to throw this out here. Rory Calhoun
Please.
was in a movie called Rollerblade Warriors, Taken by Force.
That's a type.
He played Old Turkle.
He's not going to be young Turkle. That's for damn sure. Let's look at the ratings. On Rotten Tomatoes, Motel Hell has a 71%, which is a passing score.
That seems low to me.
Well, you want to hear it? The audience score is 49%.
Who is this audience? Like our parents were asked to sit down and watch this? Who is this audience?
I think they asked me.
I say this is wrong.
Wrong, I say. What is your rating?
Oh my God! This is dynamite. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Farmer Vincent fritters.
5 out of 5.
Out of biscuit, man. I'm giving it 9 Rory Calhouns out of 9. I'm giving it 2 Nancy Parsons out of 1.
Okay.
It is dynamite.
I'll give it 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10? Oh.
4 out of 10 pig heads. That's what I'm saying. It's mildly amusing occasionally.
Oh.
That's what I will say.
Man.
Mildly amusing occasionally. It is, again, I almost think I would have enjoyed it more if they got rid of all the romance crap and made it a straight slasher kind of thing.
That's what made it a horror film, the thought of those two together.
Right.
That was the most terrifying thing in the world.
Because I wanted more of a Halloween, Friday the 13th kind of feel where people, like unsuspecting people, are in the air. Like, that's the focus. You know what I mean?
What?
People are like, oh, my car is broken down. I have to stay at that old hotel. There's Norman Bates in the window. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Not, I don't know what this is, a Lifetime network, romance, Farmer Vincent learning to love again. I don't know what's happening with this. Not feeling it.
I will tell
That's what I'm
you,
saying.
This was filmed in Moore Park, California. You know where Moore Park is?
Is it Less Park? I don't know. Where's Moore Park?
That's like on your way to Santa Barbara, but not along the coast. And then the budget was $3 million. Worldwide gross was about 6. So
hey, that's not bad.
It made the profit back. It made like $2 million the first weekend. And then
not bad.
Apparently everybody just stopped going.
That was it. Hit a brick wall and said, no thanks.
Oh, I thought it was a classic. 1980s, good times.
1980. It was just. So there you have it. Thank you for joining us. Go to our page on Facebook at The Podcast That Wouldn't Die. Go to our page on Twitter at TPodcastTWDie. Email us at thepodcastthatwouldn'tdie at Gmail. Are we getting a lot of emails just rolling in?
No.
Very upsetting. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere the finer podcasts are sold.
But not SoundCloud.
I don't think they even have a company anymore. So like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a stranger. That's all I'm saying. Aaron, you are on Twitter as well.
The Cult of Aaron. Join the cult.
So I have to take a minute here and give a special shout out to our biggest fan, nay, the inspiration for why we even have a podcast at this time.
It's true.
That would be Preston Newkirk. I just messed up his name. Preston Newkirk.
I know your name. Preston Newkirk. Or Quark, right, as your uncle might say. Preston
Newkirk, as he's often called. Prestolium. he was the one who said, "Hey, I've been watching your shows on YouTube. Why not bring the show back? Get the gang back together again." So thank you very much, Preston. I appreciate all of your thoughts and feelings and positive vibes.
I believe
so there you have it.
Working on a new bumper music for us also, although I've seen no evidence of it.
Well, he was also going to be the producer of our show for a brief time,
and which we saw no evidence of either.
No evidence. There are much more evidence to get to indict Farmer Vincent than there was of any help from Preston. But his thoughts are with us, so we appreciate
thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. So thank you very much, and be well.
And the nose goes under the mask, not above it. And then when you talk to people, you don't pull the mask down. At any time, you should push the mask up.
Yes.
Email me if you're confused about how this works, and I'll set you straight. Peace!